Good evening and welcome to this instalment of SWLondoner News. I'm Faye Watson.
And I'm Steve Forbes. Our main stories tonight. We spoke to the UK's only full-time LGBT plus theatre ahead of this weekend's London Pride Parade.
A cafe in Brixton has launched a pay what you feel policy to help boost the local economy.
The summer finals of the London Youth Games kicked off in Crystal Palace today, with some Team GB athletes turning up to show their support.
Brixton has developed a unique way to combat air pollution across the district.
But first up, ahead of the 45th London Pride March this Saturday, our reporters spoke to the UK's only full-time LGBT plus theatre. Last night at the Above the Stag Theatre in Vauxhall, they opened their latest musical, He Shoots, He Scores, about London's worst gay football team. Our reporter Laura Fox spoke to the artistic director Peter Bull about why the theatre is so important for the gay community in Vauxhall.
This year marks the 45th year of the London Pride Festival and the 50th anniversary of the legalisation of homosexuality. I've come to the UK's only LGBT theatre, Above the Stag in Vauxhall, to talk to artistic director Peter Bull about why Pride is still so important, the role of the LGBT theatre, and why Vauxhall is still one of the biggest gay hubs in London.
It used to be gay pride, and then it sort of became lesbian gay pride. Within the last 2 years, the trans issue has become much more highlighted, even to myself, but it's always been there. We've got a double-decker bus, which we put in every year, an open-top double-decker bus, which does the parade. And at 12:30, the cast of this show are performing on the main stage at Trafalgar Square. They're performing one of the big numbers from the show. Saturday, I think it'll be dead, because Pride is over in Trafalgar Square, over that way. Sunday, though, the park becomes very busy. The RVT, Royal Vauxhall Tavern, are actually taking over an archway there, that public archway, and putting a club in there this weekend, which will be a lot of fun. So I'd imagine the Eagle will be packed, the RVT will be packed, and we're packed. We live in a bubble in London because everybody accepts everybody, pretty much. There's still trouble. But outside, it's amazing. There's still racism, homophobia, misogyny goes on. But things like theatre, I think, and maybe us, I hope so, help break down those barriers and make it more accepting. It is an awareness, I think, that we are there, but not hidden away. And even if you do hide us away, we're not going to go away. London is accepting, and I think it generally is. People's attitudes are changing. The millennials don't care. The young people you meet now, most of them, it's not an issue. The gay community's got to evolve because people are on apps now, social media. I say you used to go to a bar to meet somebody. People don't do that now. They do it on their iPhone. But you've got to evolve and offer something different. Vauxhall 20 years ago was a little bit seedy, and it's not now. I've had said before, the danger is that it'll go the other way and become too corporate and scare everybody away, but hopefully it won't.
If you want to see the London Pride Parade, you can head down to Oxford Street on Saturday, where I'll be marching down towards Whitehall. Otherwise, on Sunday, Vauxhall will be the centre of the Pride party, with Pride in the Park right here in the Vauxhall Pleasure Gardens.
Today marks the 40th anniversary of the London Youth Games Summer Finals. First opened by the Queen in 1977, the event sees schools from every London borough take part in a variety of sports. With current Team GB Olympians there to support the children, we sent our reporter David Pittham down to the Crystal Palace National Sports Centre.
Wimbledon may be drawing a crowd, but there's another sporting event happening here in South London. The London Youth Games, the largest of their kind in Europe, has attracted over 1.5 million participants since it began 40 years ago. These have included such famous names as Bradley Wiggins, Rio Ferdinand and Mo Farah. And this year's event organisers are hopeful that the participants who have come here today will be inspired by the likes of such famous names to go on to achieve success themselves as the next generation of budding British athletes. Since it began in 1977 to mark the Queen's Jubilee, the Games have been held here in the National Sports Centre in Crystal Palace, with all 33 boroughs of London sending a team to take part in one of 32 different sports.
This means a lot, you know. This was my first ever champs in a way, so it brings back a lot of memories, and it's nice that I can come here and inspire some of the kids. Hopefully, if it's just one person that sees me today and is like, I want to also achieve what she's achieved, that makes me really happy. I remember being in the Crystal Palace Stadium, doing the 100 metres and the long jump simultaneously, and actually finishing a jump, then running to go to the start line and complete my race, and then coming back to the long jump pit. So it was quite hectic, but exciting memories.
To be invited back here today as like part of their alumni is really, it's like quite touching to me because it's played such a big role in my career development. I imagine some of these kids are going to go on to be Olympic champions. They're probably going to be better than I ever was. So it is really a humbling experience. My piece of advice to anyone that's trying to like advance in sport would just be to just like keep believing, really. Never like lose the dream, never lose that sort of inner child who once had a dream of just being Olympic champion. Just like keep that with you every training session.
There's so many talented kids, and there will be definitely new stars coming through in the next 8 years from these games, and that's the main thing. It's like a melting pot of next generation, so it's a conveyor belt. Each time the London Youth Games happen, there's a new star that's developing. We can't see them right now, but in 8 years you would definitely say they were at the London Youth Games.
Our aim is to get more kids active in London and to get them all coming together as one London and one great big LYG community. A couple of years ago we had our 1,000th participant, and last year we had 140,000 people taking part. So hopefully in the next couple of years we should hit our 2 millionth participant, which would be amazing because it just means that more and more young Londoners are getting active and living healthier lives. So we have over 10% of our participants have some form of disability. We have both disability-specific sports and fully inclusive sports, depending on what's right for that particular sport. So we really push our disability programme, and we try and make sure that as much of our programme as possible has an option for kids who do have disabilities.
Haringey were crowned the champions of the School Shield today, but the overall prize, the Jubilee Trophy, is still up for grabs. Wandsworth, whose 3-year winning streak was last year broken by Bromley, the current holder of the Jubilee Trophy, are looking to regain that title and are currently in 2nd place.
Pay what you feel is not often a term you hear in today's economic climate, but one cafe in Brixton is allowing patrons to do just that by using the district's very own currency. Could the Brixton Pound Cafe be the turning point for how we eat and drink out? We sent Henry Martin along to find out more.
I'm here at the Brixton Pound Cafe, a crowd-funded enterprise that takes local currency, the Brixton Pound, and hosts a wide variety of events for the Brixton community.
We have this pay what you feel policy, and it's about a couple of things. It's about giving people a new experience. So the Brixton Pound has always been about encouraging people to think differently about how they spend money and what the impacts are when they do spend money on their community, on the wider world. So Pay What You Feel encourages people to think a little bit about the value of the food and drink that they're buying, the value of the experience. In fact, last week we held our most recent funding round, and we funded a project for refugees, a project helping older people at risk of social isolation, a project providing work experience to young people who might not usually be able to access that, and a pile of other stuff. We provide artist residencies. We get artists to take on a 2-week residency and put up their art in our basement for a very, very low fee. Normally it can be quite expensive for artists to find exhibition space.
One such artist is Paul Ashton, a Brixton local whose work has been on display in the Brixton Pound Cafe.
You need more and more places like this, do you know what I mean, where the community get together, and I love the fact that it doesn't matter what background you come from. Do you know what I mean? That's really, really important, I think. You know what I mean? Instead of them and us sort of thing, and everyone being divided, you're black, you're this, you're that, or whatever, this is your little group over here, this is your little group over there, sort of thing. I'm a great believer in people working and networking together and working together, because we're all essentially the same, do you know what I mean? And we all need to work together to try and help support each other.
The Brixton Pound launched in 2009, and around 250 businesses use the currency, with the aim of encouraging local spending.
Brixton is a really interesting place. There are a lot of socio-economic issues here, a lot of division, poverty and wealth side by side. So the Brixton Pound's role, part of it has always been about looking for ways to bring community together in Brixton. Our pay-as-you-feel policy allows people to pay £3 for a coffee if they're feeling generous and if they have cash in their pocket. If they've only got 50p in their pocket, they can still come in and they can buy their lunch for 50p if they'd like to. So it's all about that inclusive community ethos.
And finally, Brixton has developed a unique way of combating air pollution with the opening of an orchard earlier this year. Funded by the Brixton Business Improvement District and the Mayor of London's Air Quality Fund, the Brixton Orchard aims to combat high pollution with its 35 fruit trees. Our reporter, Sean Doherty, spoke to volunteers and organisers about the community project.
Pollution remains a hot topic all over the city. But here in Brixton, the issue reached particular prominence earlier this year when Brixton Road exceeded its annual pollution limit in just 5 days. Brixton Orchard is an attempt to minimise the effects of pollution on the area while teaching people about the growing of fruit and giving Brixton a green space. It's volunteer day today at the orchard, so we came along to lend our green fingers and to ask the organisers behind the project why it's important.
Projects like this show how we can improve or increase the amount of green space we have, enhance it to be better to address the clean air issues, as well as to show the relevance and importance of green space in our day-to-day lives, how much it improves our well-being. People come down the street and ask me if they can be involved. Sometimes they'll just on the spot walk over and join in.
I worry about the air pollution in this area. The congestion in the area has grown over time, and obviously every bit we can do to discourage global warming for the future of ourselves now and for the future generation of my children and my grandchildren. So if everybody does it in small pace, it will help out overall the whole country.
When I came to London, I actually could smell the air. Now I get used to it, unfortunately, but the pollution is really, really bad. So if we have many spaces like there, actually even when you are here, you can sit on the grass, you can feel more fresh.
I like the connection with nature, and I saw that they were doing something great here, so I wanted to be part of it. We need more green spaces like this. I mean, you see so many sections of land that's doing nothing. Well, let's plant something. Let's plant some flowers and maybe some fruits as well.
Ideally, we can hand this over to the residents in the area and say, look, this is your space to take care of and to spend time in. You know, appreciate and watch it grow over the next 20 years. People can come find me on site on a Thursday, or they can check the Urban Growth website, which has a link to the Brixton Orchard in our portfolio section. The more people feel sort of empowered to protect it, the more it's going to give back to society and environment.
Thank you for watching, and from all of us here at South West Londoner News, good night.
Good night.